if you're expecting me to get all worked up and angry, this probably isn't the day. I don't know. I can talk myself into it, I guess, just by saying some of the stuff that I'm about to say here. So Arkansas losing 45-19, no big surprise, but as we're saying, this was almost poetic that it would come to this, with Ty Storey marching in here, playing great, and whipping Arkansas. You ever notice how on the other side, Arkansas always seems to start the wrong quarterback? Maybe Colorado State, maybe they didn't do it in that one, but they always seem to start the wrong guy. Had some doubts about John Stephen Jones, and this isn't about John Stephen. I don't mean to come down on him because I don't think he should have been put in that situation, but really just doesn't seem to have the arm strength needed. We saw a lot of balls that were really behind the wide receivers, and not that KJ came in and just lit it up or anything. He didn't, but still, I think everybody knows who's the future of this program, and it's KJ Jefferson. It's not John Stephen. But just to my point about always starting the wrong quarterback, I think they also maybe kind of ran off the wrong quarterback. I mean, I tweeted this during the game, like, what does Arkansas look like if Ty Storey is still with his team? And I think they would have won some more games. I think they probably would have beat San Jose State. Might have won this game right here because they don't have Ty Storey. Might have won the Kentucky game. Then maybe we're not talking about that. Maybe we're not talking about how this team has completely let go of the rope once again. Completely lost this team. And, you know, Chad can say in the press conference and stuff that it's a rebuild. He knew it was going to take some time and all this stuff. Whatever. This was not that big a rebuild. You can't tell me that any of these teams, San Jose State, Western Kentucky, any of these teams have the business of coming into Fayetteville and doing this. I don't care what you're rebuilding, because this is not a rebuild. I mean, you may be getting some better players in here, but the results just show a team that has completely quit on their head coach, on their defensive coordinator. Quit. They're done with you. They are. I'm sorry, but they are. They're done. Now, I said I wasn't going to get worked up, so I'm going to kind of calm it down a little bit. But it's seriously time to start talking about job security of Chad Morris. And I mean, it's been time, right? It has. You know, just in the postgame, I asked him about, you know, his conversation with Hunter Yurachek, and says they meet every week and talk about the football program. I mean, what is there to salvage? You know, it's a rebuild job. He knew it was a rebuild. It's going to take some time and stuff. It might take somebody else some time. It might be taking somebody else some time to rebuild this program right now. I mean, this program right now is just completely off the rails. And here's a situation where a guy that you kind of separated, ran off, you can say whatever you want to say about it, but he comes in here and may have ended up costing, may have been, I mean, like literally Ty Storey may have been the guy to hammer the final nail in the coffin. Nothing's happened. Chad says he's not worried about his job, but I would be if I were him. I would be real worried about it right now. I mean, you're 2-8 after a 2-10 season. And when I tweeted that, you know, just about Ty Storey, you know, did they run off the wrong, what would this team look like with Ty Storey at quarterback? When I said that, like everybody was like, it's not a player problem, it's the coach problem. Why is it one problem? One of my favorite sayings, there's enough room under this bus for a lot of people to get under. It's not just coaching, and it's not just Chad. I mean, it's year over year, but what he has done with this program, usually coaches at this point maybe have a signature win, maybe knock off somebody they're not supposed to knock off of. But what we're seeing right now, I mean, if any indication, the early part of the season where they play Texas A&M tough, you know, play some opponents fairly tough, they don't just get routed and lay down against Ole Miss, you know. So there are some examples where, yeah, this team has shown better. I mean, this is just laying down and taking it. That's all it is. That's all it is. This isn't like we're building, we're getting things going. There's no momentum behind. You have to have some momentum to build this team, and it's not there. It's just absolutely not there. And I'll tell you some of the problems also. In addition to repeatedly starting the wrong quarterback, Rakeem Boyd had 3 carries in the first half. And I asked him, that's the first question I asked him, why did Rakeem Boyd only have 3 carries in the first half and 8 carries for the game? He's like, well, we only had 4 possessions in the first half. It was, like a time of possession thing. Maybe if you'd given him the ball, if you give him the ball a little bit, then maybe you actually have some more possession time. Just remarkable. don't know if I can get out that way, this way. So Boyd had 3 carries, 5 in the second half, that's it. 8 carries for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy that's actually moving the ball consistently, breaking off big plays, we don't want to get him the ball too much. That's just what they'd be expecting us to do. You know, as far as like the Hunter Yurachek stuff, ooh, a lot of trash. Taking out the trash right here. I know what y'all are thinking right now. That's not a metaphor. So as far as Hunter Yurachek and having support from Hunter Yurachek, the thing that you know about athletic directors is everything is hunky-dory, everything is good until suddenly it's not. And it's just suddenly not. It's not like, well, things aren't going well, we'll have to see. You know, there's never like that. It's like full support, he's the guy, yada, yada, and then it's not. So I thought that Chad looked kind of shook in the press conference. He was getting some hard questions at him. I mean, the questions have gotten progressively harder. I mean, basically everything today was about your job security. You know, I even asked him about talking about when he got the job, we're going to be one of the more explosive offenses in all of college football. Well, I mean, is this something that part of the building process coming down the road? I mean, you know, KJ didn't come in and just set the world on fire, but as we said, he's the guy of the future. I mean, so why didn't he start? And then he didn't come out the second half, and you know, that might have been a circumstance thing, but you had to take a shot, get the shoulder back. But just the way it looks, it's always like the worst possible outcome. You know, everything they do, like running into Ty Story here, you know, the fake punts that they've tried, the fake punt that they had tried against them. You know, it's like every single thing that they try or do just becomes kind of a joke. And this is the latest one with the quarterback that was basically run out of here from Arkansas, been here for 4 years. And on the outset, yeah, I mean, I'm right there thinking, yeah, they need a change at quarterback, but I don't think anybody expected, I don't know if it matters who comes in at quarterback. It just seems like they're just going to regress and get worse. I'm afraid for KJ. I mean, at this point. So, 42,000 people in there. Terrible. I don't blame the fans one bit. The worst crowd I've ever seen in that stadium. The absolute worst. When you take over a team that was 4 wins last year, you call it a rebuild, you win 2 games, you win 2 games the next year. I mean, that doesn't feel like you're rebuilding in the right direction. And now look at this schedule next year. You open with Nevada, which is a good team. You go to Notre Dame, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU. All those teams are coming to Fayetteville. You got Missouri at Arrowhead. What's this thing? What's next week look like? Well, next week's a bye. Next week's a bye. But then it's LSU, at LSU. They'll have a week after this Alabama game. I actually don't know the score of the Alabama game because I am, right now I'm recording the game and I've just avoided the score. So maybe watch a little real football. A couple of real good teams go at it. I know that they've had problems on this team with injuries and quarterback. They can't get it settled out, but this is a team that has just let go of the rope. There's no other way around it. They've mishandled a lot of things, especially with some of these young players, just not like contributing like a kneel down or one special teams play in a game and burning a game. Like Jalen Catalon, he can't play again the rest of the year. That's it for him, what you saw today. 42,000 people in that stadium. It didn't feel like it. It felt like that was exaggerated to me. And I also say, I mean, the numbers were down. I mean, people were like throwing the bird to the field, leaving the field. Boo birds raining down at halftime. I mean, I guess it shows that people still care, but they're not coming to the game. I'll say this, like our traffic on HawgSports, our signups are going up, the traffic is going up. So people care, but I think people are just kind of showing how they feel about this program by not coming to the game. That's what I think. Can I run across? Come on. Thank you. All right, I'm trying to cross this street here and get over to my car. What's up, brother? So, what else is there to say? I wouldn't be surprised by anything at this point. I really wouldn't, either way. If this is the last game of Chad Morris, if he coaches the rest of the year, if they keep him until next year, I mean, at this point, the way things have gone, I almost just don't even know what to expect. I mean, I hear plenty of things behind the scenes. I hear a lot behind the scenes. But I don't think that Chad has this team behind him. I don't feel like they're fighting him for him. You know, even like with Brett, you know, losing those games that he did at the end of the year, but the players actually fought for him. You know, they battled against Coastal Carolina and Ole Miss. You know, they battled in some games. You knew Houston Nutt, they always had his back. Darren McFadden grabbed the mic and tell the students, stop talking trash. Players holding press conferences, player called press conferences to support their coach. Those guys would fight for those coaches. They may have been flawed, yes. The players had their back. They believed in him. Even Bobby Petrino, they feared him. They believed in him though. I just don't see that with this team. I see a lot of the same mistakes. Every week feels like an experiment. Basketball season starting. So I want to mention everybody, we got a big special going on right now. 2 months for the price of one. Super interesting time to sign up at HawgSports.com right now. 2 months, the price of one. Breaks down to like 2 cents. I think 1.6 cents a day if you do the math on it. So that's a pretty good deal. Find out what you've been missing from your #1 insider, independent source on the Razorbacks at HawgSports.com. Thanks for joining me for the walk and talk. Last one in Fayetteville. Bye week next week, Baton Rouge, and then Little Rock to round it out. Just another disaster, dumpster fire of a season for this once proud program that one day will recover. I just don't know when, and I don't know how. This has been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com. We'll catch you next time.